Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're back in the trails once again, my local spot, and I've got the Haibike XDURO 9.0 with me today, which is super sick. We're going to be doing some sick stuff on it. This video is going to be how to hill climb your e-bike. I'm going to talk through the different modes that you can switch between on your e-bike and something called cadence or cadence, however you want to pronounce it, what that is and how it helps you get up hills and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into it. Let's do it. So for this first section I'm going to talk to you about cadence and what it is and how it's related to doing hill climbs. Basically on your e-bike, if you're using a Haibike, there's 5 different select modes that you can switch through, which shows you the battery, how far you've gone, stuff like that. One of those settings is the cadence and it's measured in RPM. If you select the mode and you start pedaling, you'll notice that the cadence goes up depending on how hard you're pedaling. If you're not pedaling too much, your cadence will stay quite low. If you're pedaling quite a lot, it will be a lot higher. What you want to do when you're going up a hill is keep your cadence quite high, and basically what that translates to in English that we understand is you're going to want to keep pedaling a lot. Say for example you're biking down a hill, you're not constantly pedaling at the same rate the whole time you're going down the hill, and how cadence helps is basically when you keep giving the bike power, it keeps giving you power. That's how pedal assist e-bikes work. If you give it something, it gives it back basically. So if you're going up a hill and you stop pedaling as hard, obviously you're going to be given less power by the bike, which means it's going to make you struggle getting up the hill a lot more. When you're doing the more technical hill climbs, you've got to make sure that you kind of pick a rate in which you're pedaling and then you stick to it the whole time. If something's difficult or it feels like you need to sort of slow off the pedaling, you've got to get used to in your brain not doing that. You've got to keep the pedaling consistent, and that will help you get up the ridiculous hills that are stupid that you've probably seen in my brother's videos and stuff. So for the second bit of theory, we're going to be talking about the different modes that the e-bikes have. Now my e-bike has 5 different modes. I've got Eco Plus, and then we go up to Eco. From there it's standard, then high, and then at the top mode with 300% extra assistance, that's experience mode. Choosing the right mode is going to determine more or less if you're going to get up the hill or not. So for example, this hill that's next to me, it's quite mellow, so obviously I'm not going to want to be putting that straight into the turbo or experience mode because that's not exactly necessary. And sometimes you'll find that if you go in too high of a mode and too low of a gear, because of the assistance you're going to be pedaling a lot more than you actually expected. So you're going to want to bump down your mode for the mellower hills, or make sure that your gear isn't too light, because that's going to make you pedal too much, which can cause you to sort of slip your pedal or something annoying like that. When you're going up the steeper hills that are more like this angle and not like this, you're obviously going to want to put it in the highest mode you can. If you want to give yourself a challenge, maybe bump it down 1 mode or something, but it really is going to help you if you put it in the top mode, and that way you can do it once, come back down, do it again. You can do it loads of times in a short space of time. With the 300% assist, obviously you can get up ridiculous hills. Basically that just gives you a lot more power when you're going up the hill, because obviously when you're going up a hill this steep, even if you're in the lightest gear, it's going to be quite a challenge for you to actually pedal even with the assistance. So you're just going to want to make sure that you choose your mode wisely and sort of just play about with it, see what you like. If you want the challenge, put it down a few modes. If you want to just get up the hill, maybe you're doing an enduro race or something, put it in a higher mode. And yeah, that's it really. Obviously the lower mode you go, the more battery you're going to conserve, but depending on what you're doing, I wouldn't really worry on battery conservation, because one hill isn't really going to eat away too much battery. Okay, so we've looked at cadence and we've looked at the different modes. I've touched on the gears as well. Obviously you guys probably know how to pedal up a hill already. You obviously want the lighter gear, so it's quite a lot similar to that. It's just on the e-bikes there's some things that you need to be careful for, like I've mentioned. Definitely watch out for the high mode and light gear, because that can be something that will make you like die. So if you've got it in the lightest gear in turbo, like I said, if you go to pedal that you just slam down because it's giving you so much power back, you won't really be able to handle it. So you got to make sure that you're used to how the e-bike works really before you try and attempt any crazy hill climbs. So now I'm going to find a few little hills around my local park. There's some nice ones over the back there, there's some mellower ones here, and there's a nice one that I like to hill climb which is just over here, which is next to the step up. Basically, I'm just going to be trying to explain what I'm doing whilst I'm doing it and why it's working and how you should do it as well. Right, so this is hill number 1. It's quite a small hill, as you can see, nice and mellow. I am in eco mode at the moment and I'm right at the bottom of the hill here. You can probably see me in the mini corner, and I'm in quite a high gear as I'm in eco mode, so it's not going to be giving me much of a boost. I'm also going to use my dropper post to put my seat up a little bit so I can get that extra leg extension with each stroke. And basically what you're going to want to do is just power up the hill like this. Super easy. Try and keep your weight sort of central rather than over one wheel more than the other, because it will keep your grippy back wheel gripping and it will keep you from going into a manual as well, which can sometimes actually happen if you're going up too steeper hills on the e-bike. I'll demonstrate that in a second, and yeah, I'm going to demonstrate to you what happens if you're in too high of a mode and too light of a gear, and if you keep your weight too far off the back. Oh my god, see, so insane. You can literally wheelie up hills. That's what's actually quite funny about the e-bikes. You can do like uphill wheelie challenges and stuff, which is so insane, but it's definitely something to look out for if you're just trying to look for a normal hill to climb. Right, so I'm over at the bigger hill now. This is quite a lot steeper, this one, so we're going to be putting up the mode a little bit and changing the gear up slightly. We're just going to sort of send it up the hill, tell you the tips of how I got up here nicely and how to just be a boss at hill climbing really. So for bigger hills like this, you want to make sure you have a tiny bit of a run up actually up to the hill, because you're going to want to get your cadence going before you're actually on the hill, otherwise it's not going to work too well. So at the moment I've bumped it up one mode. I'm now in standard and I'm starting a little bit back from the bottom transition of the hill, as you can see. Basically what you're going to want to do is start at a nice speed, and then as you hit the hill, pedal harder and up you get like an absolute pro. Wasn't that simple? Really, really easy and good. Look at this hill, it's actually quite big. You might not really be able to tell because of the fisheye, but this is quite a nice hill. I could feel in my legs that on a normal bike that would have been almost impossible. So yeah, super sick. So just remember, seat up really helps. The higher the gear, the better, but just watch out if you're in a higher mode as well, so you're going to be getting more power out of each stroke, which could lead to some disasters. And start a little bit back from the hill, get the cadence going, and then as you hit the hill, that's when you pedal real hard and you'll get up it like a pro. Like I said, keep the weight as level as you can. Make sure you're not doing a manual up the hill, and also make sure you're not too far forward, otherwise you'll start wheel spinning. That's also going to kill you too. We're going to move on to the step up hill now, which I think is the biggest one that I can find around here, and we're just going to hit it. Might play a little game of how close to the bottom can I start from and still get up. Right, so this is the last hill that we're going to be doing the hill climb on. It's quite big. It's quite a lot longer than the rest of the hills basically, because I'm going to try and work it out. Where my hand is where the start of the jump actually is. Start of the jump? Start of the hill. So yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. I can't help but notice this is a proper like music video angle like that. Yeah. Right, anyway, let's do it. I'm now at the bottom of the track, so I'm in the second to top lightest gear at the moment, and I'm going to bump up another mode into high, so we're one from the top, and I'm starting basically right at the bottom of the transition of the hill. I'm going to put my seat way up. Okay, let's do it. Oh no, my gear changed. Oh yeah, easy though. Absolute boss. Right, this is where the fun begins. I'm in experience mode, and I'm going to start kind of like a quarter of the way up the hill. I bet you I can still do it though. I'm such a pro at hill climbs. Let's hit it. Oh yes, come on. Oh, pro, man. So good at this. this. Actually an absolute boss, really, aren't I? I'm halfway up the hill. You'd never be able to do this on a normal bike. Here we go. Oh my God, I'm doing it. Oh yes. What an absolute pro. Started about here and still got up. Like, it wasn't even a struggle. That literally just proves e-bikes once again. I just find it weird. People that say like, why have an e-bike when you should just bike up the hill normally? Like, why? Because if you're talking about fitness, like, yeah, but I can bike up the hill once and I've used more energy, so I've like made more fitness in my body, but I can do this hill 5 times more than you can and use the same amount of energy. So whilst I'm having more fun and using equal amounts of energy, you're having the crappiest day ever. That was how to hill climb on your e-bike. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you like the sort of style of this video. I felt like I sort of changed it up a little bit, using some different lenses, putting a bit more B-roll in there. I'm trying to sort of do that in my edits now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next one.
I just wanna have some fun.